Good evening. The patch notes for Overwatch 2 Season 9 are out a single day early. We're going to read them ahead of time. I will say I was able to play this patch a little bit in advance in preparation for the big drop tomorrow. I have a few opinions I want to offer along with some additional stuff. You may be watching other people yap on YouTube right now about the patch notes, Flats, or whoever else you like watching. I have a little extra sauce on top of it. Okay, so I'm not going to waste any time. Let's begin. I'm live on Twitch. You can see them all down here. Woohoo, say hi. Send some little Joels, a little wide duck ass. Let's begin. I'm going to skim through a lot of the other stuff and just go straight to the balance stuff. So Katie, shout out to Katie, community manager, putting down the notes a day early. Remember, the season begins at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. on February 13th, tomorrow. Okay, Season 9 Champions is the name of the new event. You probably all saw the trailer. It's the Cosmic Crisis. You saw the Moira Mythic, blah, blah, blah. Let's begin with the competitive play changes. So TLDR, skill rank reset for everybody. Everybody's going to be unranked. You need to do 10 placement matches. The placement matches will have a significant impact on your final rank. Your predicted rank will display after each match, so you have an idea of what kind of lobbies you're playing. That's number 2. Number 3, I want to skip over down here because I've already read these earlier a bunch. I wish they put this higher. At the start of the season, the internal matchmaking ratings for all players have been adjusted to push players close to the normalized average at gold 3. So the bell curve, gold 3, that's average. If you're gold 3, chat, you're average. And that's okay. Being average is okay. Gold 3 is average. Okay, and matchmaking ratings have been decayed. The higher your rank is, the more it's decayed. So if you're on the extreme end, on the high end, you'll be pushed down quite a bit. Okay, most players will start at a lower skill rank in division than their most recent rank. I wish they put that at the top, but anyways, let me skip back up now here. Blah, 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 blah. There's that new skill tier champion, which is above Grandmaster now, so the high-end players have something to strive for. In the versus screen, as soon as you queue in, you will see the range of ranks at the top left. There's new grouping requirements for now. Now, I want to make this clear. Gavin, the systems designer at BlizzCon 4 months ago, said at some point in 2024, there will be wide matchmaking where a diamond player can queue with a bronze player, but they're still tweaking it. That is not coming out right now. Morgan Madron on Twitter has another matchmaking algorithm engineer. I don't know his official title at Blizzard, so I apologize. He also did confirm the wide matchmaking is not out in this patch, didn't make it for now, but it will come out soon. So this is the grouping requirements for now. Bronze to diamond can queue with other players within 2 skill tiers of their own skill rank. If you're bronze, you can play up to gold. If you're diamond, you can play with gold. Gold can play with diamond. So that means a gold player, the average, can play with up to diamond or up to bronze, or as low as bronze. Right? Okay. If you're masters, though, only within 1 skill tier of their skill rank. So masters can queue up with some GM players or diamond players. If you're in GM specifically, you can only queue within 3 skill divisions. So if I'm GM 5, I can only queue up to GM 2 or Masters 2. Okay? And if you're above Grandmaster in the champion rank, only one other player within 3 skill divisions of their own skill rank. So 3 skill divisions there as well. So champion 2 queues of champion 5. That's it. Okay. There's some UI updates. The competitive points, people were up in arms about the Jade and Golden weapons and stuff. So yeah, Jade weapons are introduced. They cost 3,000 new competitive points. Everybody in this season will begin with 0 points because the old points have been converted to their legacy competitive points, and the Golden weapons cost 3,000 legacy points only. So that means if you play this new matchmaking system on and beyond, you can only buy Jade weapons. You cannot buy gold weapons with the new points. If you have old leftover legacy points, you can still buy gold, or else you'll have to wait. Yes, you have to wait till the end of 2024 to buy gold again. If this current system stands, I've criticized this. I'm not happy with this. I think players should have a choice Even if you want this new currency, you should still be able to choose between Jade and Gold. I don't know. They're making Jade exclusive, so I don't agree with this. 3,000 points, which is similar to the golden weapon price. This is the distribution. Each win grants you 10, draw grants you 5, loss grants you 0. Okay. Blah 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 blah. There are the competitive challenges are removed. The rewards and stuff are displayed on the top right. Okay, so that's matchmaking for the new season. Remember, the 5 wins, 15 losses cards gone. Top 500 still exists. Yes, they still exist, but top 500 is always a division, is not really, it's like a separate rating that's relative to your platform and the amount of people playing and the people who have the qualifications of winning 50 games or having a phone number, unless they got rid of those 2 rules. But top 500 is relative. If you are a console player in Asia, your top 500 will be different than PCNA because PCNA is more popular, so you'll have more people in the higher ranks. You could be in top 500 in Diamond. Top 500 is just simply a leaderboard, not a true ranking. Okay. It's relative to your platform. Blah 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 blah. There's some more player progression stuff. You can friend endorsements. There will be new crosshairs to the game. The ranked rewards in season 8 should go to the legacy ones. Everyone starts at 0 next season. Okay, I'm yapping. Listen, new reticules. You get squares, boxes, lines, a tri-wing, and fall off. So if you play other games, better reticle customization, always a good thing. You have new dots and you have new color options. So if you have a brown crosshair like your poop, I don't know why you would do that, but hey, you do you, my friends. Much more customization. That's very good. Okay. Let's go into the hero updates. So this was already revealed in the blog post last week, but I'll cover them very briefly again. The thing they didn't cover was stuff like this. So from the top, projectile size is increased across everybody except for a few exceptions, like Arissa's Energy Javelin and Reinhardt's Fire Strike. I'm not going to read each of the numbers. Oops. 0.05 to 0.15 meter thickness is the increase for most things. So the smaller end of 0.05 meter increases is for high rate of fire or spread, like Tracer's Pulse Pistols, Reaper's Shotguns. 0.08 thickness for hit scans, so Cassie's Peacekeeper, Soldier's Pulse Rifle, probably things like Sombra's Shot, Sojourn's Railgun, etc. 0.05 as well for shotguns that have high rate of fire, that have a travel time, like Roadhog's Scrap Gun, Ramatra's Void Accelerator. Then it gets really thick. 0.1 to 0.15 for travel time projectiles with a certain speed greater than 50 meters per second or less than 50 meters per second. So it's really thick for things like Junkrat Nade, Farronade, Hanzo's arrows. Now, you've heard a lot of people yap about this. I saw this on Reddit, so shout out to, what was her name? Sammy is Say So. This is the difference in size, and then they put it beside a life-size soldier to see how big it is. So previously, things like this. If Sojourn's rail shot used to be this thick, remember a hitbox in Overwatch is something like, you know, like a little orb like this, right? So if I aimed here, I would miss. If I still aimed here now, the new outer ring is the new one. The inside ring is the old one. So if I shoot here, I'll still miss the soldier. But basically, if I aim here, the old ring may have caused me to miss, but the new one is wider, so that would connect and count as a hit. So these are Hanzo logs. Everybody's always just like, oh my god, Hanzo just logged me from across the map. This was the old size, guys. This is Hanzo's new arrow size. All right, let's do this. This is Hanzo's new arrow size. How do I make a circle like this? So if I aim, that is 2 boxes from the center. So if I aim here, that's Hanzo's shot. This is my crosshair on Overwatch, okay? Like this. I hit here. Soldier's hitbox is probably something like this, right? If it intersects like this, that counts. So I can aim way off his shoulder, and that will hit on this new patch. It's not centered, but you get the point, right? These projectile sizes, like if you're just a bad player and you missed like really far off anyways, you may not notice it as much. But like a high level player who is relatively accurate will certainly feel it way more than other players, if that makes sense. So that will encourage you to play undercover. You may have more, get hit by more BS shots. But of course, the difference or the downside or the caveat or trade-off, whatever you want to replace that word with, is that everybody's HP will be going up. So this will only do, Hanzo's log will only do 240 damage. Soldier and most heroes in the game have 250. So yes, he'll be landing easy body shots, but that's why they needed the health increase, because they will not die in one headshot now, if they're at full health, of course. So that is something to consider. I don't understand they did make projectile smaller, but that's before the application of the global rule, which I will go through now. Okay. We also have the hit scan shot. So this is projectiles, by the way. So kunai, obviously the kunai rail shot's pretty thick hit scan. Junkrat's a big explosion, but this is the hit scan ones for Soldier, Ash, Cassidy. They're a lot smaller. Same with the pellets from like pulse pistols, shotguns, or things. They're previously like this. They are a lot thicker now, but like, yeah. What's the list of one shots now? It's only Widowmaker headshot at full charge is basically the only real threat if you're at full health. If it's good. That's a Hercules reference. Okay, so that's a projectile change. I had to show the combos. I had to show that. Next. So obviously these are all bigger, so all the heroes are getting an HP buff to compensate. 300 HP plus tanks get 75 to 100. 200 to 300 HP heroes get 50. So when you look down, you'll see everybody has like 250 HP. Bastion has 350 HP. And he has Ironclad. Bastion has 350 HP. Reaper, Mei, 300 HP. Anna and everybody else, 250. Ash, 250. So this is big. This is big. This is big. Next, ultimate charge cost will be increased by 10% across the board, right? That means everything will take longer to build up, which means less ultimates being fired across, but obviously more people are alive for a little bit longer, so yeah. We have the DPS, the roll passive, the regeneration passive, support passive, damage passive. Honestly, this is the patch note version, but I made a cleaner graphic that just shows you the net changes right now. All you need to know is if you're a tank player, you have 30% knockback resistance, minus 30% generated from enemies and teammates damaging or healing the tank respectively, and tanks will regen 20 HP per second after 5 seconds of not taking damage. DPS heroes only have the DPS debuff, healing debuff passive, where if you damage someone, they get 20% less healing received for 2 seconds, and they regenerate 20 HP per second after 5 seconds of not taking damage. They don't have that faster reload thing. That's gone. And then for supports, this is all they have now. Regen 20 HP per second after 2.5 seconds of not taking damage. What is debuff healing received? This is the new passive. So if you're a damage player and you shoot someone, they receive 20% less healing for 2 seconds. You guys play League? Grievous Wounds. Or TFT. It's like Sunfire Cape. Or Morello Nomicon. Or whatever the fuck you call it. Okay. Right here, it says it here. Reload bonus speed on elimination is removed. New roll passive. Dealing damage reduces enemy healing received by 20% for 2 seconds. Is there an indicator? Well, I did play this patch a little bit. I did not see an indicator at that time. Don't know if it got added later on, but they have given me the clear to at least say I played the patch and give some thoughts on it. I can tell you I did not see an indicator, at least at first glance. So yeah. Or cauterize from paladins, yes. And also if you hear squeaking and toys, that's Cat playing with my dog right now. Okay, another thing is quick melee damage increased from 30 to 40 for everybody. That makes sense. Everybody has more HP in the game, so your melees will do more. I will add, there's an exception Briggs swings, Reinhardt swings, Torbjorn hammer swings are 3 forms of melee that are an exception to this rule. Everybody will do 40. Reinhardt has an individual number we'll go through. Brig has an individual number. And Torb didn't get changed because Torb's technically not allowed to melee when he has his hammer out. So they didn't make a note on that, so I assume it's still at... How much damage does Torb hammer do? Like 55. Junker Queen's melee will do 40 base, but Junker Queen's melee is a little different because there's that wound applied as a separate thing on top of it. Zen's melee always does the normal amount. It just has knockback. So it will do 40. So it's only Ryan, Brig, and that's it. And Torb's doesn't count technically. Does Zen's actually do 50% more? Does it? Oh, okay. I didn't know then. That's a good point. I don't actually know the true number of it then. It might be 50. If it's written as does 50% more than the base, then I assume it will do 50% of 40. So it would be doing 60 damage. Right now, Zen's kick does 45. So it'll probably do 60 if I had to guess. Okay, let me see what it's written as. Hold on, pause. What does the wiki say? Zenyatta. Overwatch. Snap kick. Base 45. Okay. Here you go. The definition is that quick melee is increased by 50%. So what's 50% of 40? 60. Koji, we're going to put that in, by the way, on the other one. That's a good point. Can we add that into the thing? I'll make a note of that later. How many letters in snap kick? 8. So yes, the exception is Zen. Make a note of that. 50% of 40 is 20. Net 6. Total net 60 damage is what I want to say. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Let's go into the patch notes. The biggest thing here when they mention the global HP changes is that not everybody's HP change is equal because some are getting armor, some are getting health, some are getting armor, some are getting health, some are getting shield health. It is a little bit different when you think about it. Did they tell you if there's a cooldown after the 2 seconds of healing? They didn't tell me anything, but I will say when I played the patch, if I got hit by a DPS hero and I had the 20% debuff, what I assume with Overwatch logic and the way it's coded is that all it does is reset the timer. That's how it works with stuff like Briggs passive and everything. It just refreshes the timer. So I am debuffed for 2 seconds. If I get hit by another DPS person, it doesn't stack. It'll just refresh that 2-second timer for me receiving less healing, 20% less healing. So it does not stack with 2 DPSs. All it does is whatever was the last person tagged is where the last timer will be applied. The Suzu DPS passive, I didn't test that in time. I don't know what that will, if I don't know if it'll give you bonus. That's something I'll do in the Mythbuster. Okay, now I'm gonna stop yapping. I gotta get through this. Well, I'll keep yapping, but I'll stop reading chat for a moment. Okay, so HP, pilot health 150 to 175, mech armor. Yellow armor increased by 75. How much HP does Diva have right now? 600, 650? I think this puts her at over 700 HP now. Crazy. 650, so that puts her at 725. Very good. Well, very good. Very scary. Self-destructs. Explosion maximum damage increased from 900 to 1,000. I'm going to be honest. I thought Diva's damage was always 1,000 at close range, of course. So this is an interesting note that they're making. Did it ever get nerfed to 900? I don't ever recall it ever being this. I'm actually going to point this out to them and be like, are you sure? Because it's always been 1,000. I've literally done workshop modifiers with it and it does 1,000. So that part I don't get. This part is separate though. Inner explosion radius, which is the range for the maximum damage before the fall off, is increased from 4 to 6 meters. So if you're up close, you took 1,000, but the further away you moved, the less damage the Diva Bomb scales. Now, if you're at 6 meters still, it'll still do the max 1,000 damage instead of it starting to scale a little earlier. So this is a buff for sure. Okay. Next, Doom. So I don't like the way this is notated. I've always hated this with the whole roll queue thing because, like, you know how technically tanks outside of role queue have a different HP when you play arcade or other modes. They notate it like this, where it says health increase from 300 to 375. But I feel like most people here play role queue, and it looks weird because it's like 300 to 375. But this is his role queue HP, and he gets plus 150 in role queue. So he's technically 525 HP. So if my feedback, I mean, are you lurking here? Any Blizzard people lurking here? If Katie's here, I'm going to make a formal request to please notate these as just say plus 75 HP or something if we ever do this again. Okay, instead of it using the non-roll queue HP numbers. Doom is 525 HP. Rocket Punch, max impact damage increase from 50 to 75. So when you make contact with someone, it'll do 75. If they connect with the wall, it can do 40 now. So this is stronger. Before getting empowered is what I assume. Junker Queen's HP. She's 450. She's going to go to 525. She's getting 75 HP. When I make when me and Koji cook up this patch video tomorrow on the main channel with the comparisons, we'll do the roll queue numbers. So the KarQ-ified version of the patch notes on the YouTube video, not this yapping version, will be a lot more clear. I'm going to include as much of the projectile size increase on each hero as well, so you guys can skip to the hero you play and actually see what got bigger, what got smaller, what their actual HP is. Just saying. Make sure you subscribe to the main channel. So the Rampage wound damage over time increased from 60 to 90. So 90 damage bleed per target. So many people open these patch notes and close it just saying, I'll wait for the KarQ video. It's a lot to go through. The visual one is going to be a lot easier to digest. Same with Mauga, saying 300 to 400 is a little weird, but he's getting 100 white health. I think Mauga's 700 HP right now, right? So that's 800 HP Mauga or something like that. Or was Mauga at 650? Oh, he's 750. Honestly, I don't even know the HP numbers at this point. Armor. So Orissa's getting armor health, 75 armor. This is better than almost everything here, except for D.Va getting armor. Armor health is crazy. 75 of it is literally worth 30. It's 30. Armor decreases damage done by 30%. So this is not 75 HP. This is effectively way more than 70. It's like over 100 effective HP that you're tanking more. So this is actually a bigger Orisa buff than what it appears. Ramatra's health is going up by 75 as well. 75 divided by 0.7. Thank you. You're getting an effective 107 health with armor. Same with D.Va. Thank you for that. That's good. Armor is weird. Never understood it. They simplified armor in Overwatch 2. 30% damage reduction. That's it. They got rid of the whole instance of damage, and less than 5 is 2.5, blah, 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 blah. 30% reduction on that portion of damage. I've explained it in a video before. I'll try to find that one for you guys later. Ramatra, 75 HP in both forms. Remember that. Reinhardt, health increased by 50. Armor increased by 25. So 75 total HP, but he does get a little armor, a little bit of white health. This distribution is different than some other heroes. Each hammer swing is 100 per swing. That's in line. All the HP buffs to everybody. 100 damage makes sense per swing. That's fine. That scales with it. Impact damage for the charge increased to 275, which is in line with the HP changes. It does allow you to still pin the, Cassidy at 225 to 275. You can still kill him. You kill Lifeweaver, kill Zen, kill all the 250 HP heroes. Boom. Okay, Roadhog. He's at 700 HP. He's going to 800 HP because that's a 100 HP change. Sigma's shield health, which is better than white health, but worse than armor, in my opinion, is going up by 75. So what shield health does is it regenerates 30 shield health per second after not taking damage for 2 seconds. Don't quote me on that. The practical definition is that you regenerate this health, so you have more health to naturally regenerate if you don't take damage for a bit, which is big on Sigma because you can mitigate damage when you put up a shield or use your suck. You buy time for that hopefully that shield health to start kicking in to start regenerating. So this is a more significant buff to others. Also, yes, Fire Strike does do the same damage as Swing now. That's what it appears to be. Can you regen health and shield at the same time with both passives? Yes. So a hero like Zenyatta, even because remember before the support passive was only for Zen. Zen has shield health and white health. When you don't take damage and you're like 5 HP, your shield health starts regenerating, and then the support passive kicks in, and then they double dip, and then your HP goes up like crazy. So yes, if you're out of combat for 5 seconds, your shield health will start regenerating first, and then your white health or everything else will just get regenerated flat on top. Okay. Yes. If you don't take damage for 5 seconds, though, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, anyways. Winston, still 75 HP, but the distribution is 25 white health, 50 armor, 75 HP total, but more of it is armor than white health, okay? Tesla Cannon, the damage is increased from 60 to 75 DPS. Remember, Tesla Cannon's damage now does true damage to armor. Armor has no effect on this. That was the buff they added Season 8. Primal Rage Punch Smacks, gonna be increased from 40 to 50. Cool. Wrecking Ball's full armor increased by 75, so this is good, right? Wrecking Ball, some from Winston, but Wrecking Ball and Orisa and D.Va had pure armor increases, which is a huge net buff to them, their durability. Plus, Wrecking Ball adds more, or he adds a big chunk of overhealth when he pops it. He's tankier, but this comes at the cost of Ball almost never able to like pile drive and shoot someone down at all now. So I don't know where Ball's going to stand in this patch. Doesn't feel that good to me. Like, yes, he's more durable, but he's already been very durable. Good Balls almost never died anyways. So if I had to just initially let me finish Zarya and I'll give you my thoughts on the tanks first. Zarya's health increase from 100 to 175, not shield health. Zarya will have 520. Is Zarya 475 or 450? I think Zarya's a 475 HP tank, if I'm not mistaken. So that puts her at 550, right? Zarya's at 550 now. That's pretty scary. And the primary fire beam width is going to be increased from 0.15 to 0.2 meters. It is thicker. Remember, the thickness of her primary fire beam changes according to how much energy she has as well. So if she's high energy, it's going to be even thicker and crazier. Yes, it does apply to the beam width. This is the base, so it will get thicker as far as I understand it. Now, I went over the tanks. This is the yapping channel. I'll give a quick opinion. I've literally played a few games in the patch, not that much to give you any full firm definition, but I feel like Ball, like I mentioned earlier, he was already very, like, good Ball players never died anyways. This armor change, I mean, it may help with the global, like, what's it called? The projectile size buffs. Everybody's going to hit him a little bit harder, but it wasn't hard to miss on Ball anyways at the high end. But then everybody else got tankier, so he's never going to be able to assassinate supports anymore because they have way too much HP. So it feels like Ball stays losing in this patch, straight up. He's very unkillable, so he's basically a full disruptor. His burst potential got worse, relatively speaking, because of how everything else has scaled in the game. And they did mention Ball was supposed to be reworked a couple of seasons ago, or they were looking at Ball. I remember Alec Dawson tweeting this out or saying something, the lead hero designer, that they were looking at Wrecking Ball and ways to rework him in some capacity. But this patch has hit first. Ball stays losing this patch. That's all I'm thinking. He is unkillable, but he'll be just a disruptor booper. If you're really good at double, triple booping, maybe he can be annoying as hell. And then you got to rely on the rest of your team. So he stays losing. Who seems to be the biggest winner in this patch? Feels like Roadhog also. Anything that like kind of relied on getting like a full combo, right? Roadhog, the one shot's even worse now because everyone has way too much HP. You're gonna have to do 2 shots, maybe 3. Your Pigpen, you have to really use your Pigpen to rely on extra damage. Roadhog loses that potential even more. Wrecking Ball stays losing. Ryan seems pretty good right now, like scaling wise, seems all right. Winston seems all right. I mean, he was never a big killer anyways, but his scale of his, because he actually got a damage increase while nobody else did, except Queen's ultimate. Doom a little bit, but the biggest winners are the ones who got damage buffs relative to the HP scaling. So Reinhardt, good. Winston, good. Is that it? Are those the only 2 damage buffs? Is it a Ryan Winston meta? And mine, I don't, this doesn't count. I mean, Dooms count, but like, this is only like a small portion. It feels like Ryan and Winston are the biggest winners of this patch at first glance, but still tough to say. This is just speculative. Okay. All right, let's go to the damage heroes. Ashe, health increased from 200 to 250. Bob's damage increased from 14 to 17. Remember, the projectile size is bigger for Ashe. If they're burning from a dynamite, you'll continue to apply that DPS debuff healing passive, 20% less healing, while the whole thing is ticking, and for 2 seconds afterwards, because every tick of the dynamite will keep refreshing that 2-second timer until it's over, and then you have 2 more seconds of receiving less healing. That's pretty good. Bob does get more damage. He actually got scaled. And Bob can apply the healing debuff. If you're not burning them or touching them, if Bob is shooting them, this should be applying the DPS passive the whole time. So this is, yeah, Morello Nomicon Burn plus Rylai's plus Leandri's, whatever the fuck it's called, unless that's not in the game anymore. Okay. Bastion. 200 to 250 HP plus 50 HP. Bastion's at 350 HP, like I mentioned earlier. And he's like, he's blasting people at all times, so like he will consistently apply the debuff. I feel like DPS heroes that can apply the debuffs consistently may be a little bit better than the others at first glance. Okay, Bastion's very tanky. Bastion feels pretty good and will help melt through everybody's ginormous amounts of HP. He is effectively 400 health because he has 20% ironclad damage reduction passive plus armor plus 350 base health. He just has a big hitbox, which is the downside of the drawback. But he is effectively much tankier because a 50 HP scale with the 20% passive and armor on top is, relatively speaking, a stronger power spike compared to just raw white health changes. Does Bob get his projectile count as a bigger in Season 9? Yes, but Bob just locks onto you no matter what. So like, I don't think it's even worth mentioning whether or not the projectile size. If you're in line of sight, he hits you instantly with a hit scan no matter what. He's an aimbot into the center of the body, so the projectile size increase doesn't matter. Will Dynamite have a consistent debuff because it's damage over time? Yes, 20% debuff as you're ticking. I mentioned that earlier. 491 effective HP. I love the math nerds in the chat hitting me with the numbers. I love it. Thank you. If for those watching this on YouTube, check the smart people down here. Hopefully their math checks out. You guys better be good mathematicians, like actually like software engineers, physicians, physicists, statisticians, whatever. Nerds. Okay. So that's Bastion. He's very tanky. I think he's pretty good. Cassidy's health, he already had 225. He's getting 50, 275. Pretty big. Network Engineer works for me. Deadeye's damage. Initial damage rate increase from 130 to 150. Damage rate increase from 260 to 300. Thank you, Cactus Puppy. Is Cactus Puppy here? I was like, yo, can we plot this as a graph? Because those numbers don't mean anything to the real player population. So this is all you need to look at. Here you go. Here you go. Nerds. We plotted the old damage versus the new damage. Is this easier to read? Yes. Damage on the y-axis. Time holding your Deadeye on the x-axis. After 2 seconds, that's how much damage the old Deadeye would do. Now it does a little bit more. After 2 seconds, the old Deadeye would do 235. The new Deadeye does 270. This is important. This 270 is a breakpoint here. After 2 seconds. Like old Deadeye, when everybody else used to be 200 HP, this used to kill. So it just scales relative to it. 270 should cover most heroes, except like Lifeweaver, Zen, or whatever after 2 seconds. After 2.5, though, it should be enough for almost all non-tanks in the game. Okay? This is your graph. It is neutralized by the health changes. Yeah. It's good. Why is it not linear? Because the scaling is different for the first 2 seconds of Deadeye, but the scaling of the rate of change after 2 seconds is a little different. God, I can't believe I used the word rate of change. My math teacher would be so happy. Slope. M equals FA. Wait, fuck, no. F equals M. That's physics. Y equals MX plus B. Gotcha, baby. But yeah, basically it's still a glorified Reload button. Yes? Cool. Rise over run. I'm cooking, baby. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, Deadeye buffed relative to other people. Echo's health to 250, 200, 250. Focusing beam has a definitive width change. 2.2 to 0.25 to scale with other abilities in the game. And the duplicate maximum health from 300 to 350. You guys remember Overwatch 1? When you duplicated a tank, you'd get their entire HP, 600 plus. They nerfed that to cut it to 300 max in Overwatch 2. Excuse me. And now they're just making it 350 to help scale with the HP changes. But yeah, if you remember old duplicate, that shit was crazy, man. You duplicated an old diva back in the day, 600 HP with a mech and a second life. Crazy. Okay, where are the Genji mains? Are we crying yet? Nerf Genji! He actually got buffed. Other heroes? No, most people, not everybody got buffs, but Genji actually got some buffs. Let's see. 250 health. His projectiles, his shurikens don't do any more, but swing recovery decrease from 0.9 to 0.7 seconds. Now the blade kind of sucks, 110, but you can swing a few more times in your blade now. But yes, you will require 3 swings to kill someone if you're not nanoed. So with no nano, it's kind of ass. You still need 3 swings now. So even though this is a buff, because of the HP scaling, all I did was just give you, so this is a buff to the amount of swings, because it's less time. So every time you'd swing, you have to wait 0.9 seconds before you can swing again. But now it's like swing, 0.7 second swing, 0.7 second swing. So I don't know what the math checks out to. Is it 1 extra swing or 2 extra swings at the end? I have to look at the numbers to see how long blade lasts for. I think it's 1 to 2 depending on how quick you do the first one. But honestly, I think swing should do more. I think swing should do 125 or 120. It used to be 120, nerfed to 110. With nano, it's still serviceable. That's for sure. But without nano, this shit is a pool noodle. He loses the burst. So yes, this is a buff, but compared to the rest of the game, I don't know. It's 1.8 seconds for old blade to kill, 2.1 seconds for new blade to kill. See, that's what I mean. There's some math people in this chat. I swear to God. He gets 2 more swings is what it works out to. Okay. But the individual kill will be harder. It's okay for cleanup, but yeah. Not my favorite change in terms of like relative power creep. Okay. Hanzo, health increase from 200 to 250. Storm arrow damage increased from 65 to 75, and the cooldown is less. So one thing we have to point out is that Hanzo's arrow used to be 125. It got nerfed to 120. That means a headshot now only does 240. 240 damage headshot. Means he does not one-shot anybody besides Baby Diva, Tracer, Widowmaker. Because all the heroes are at 250 HP now, at least. And Hanzo's headshot does 240. But before you say, yay, fuck Hanzo mains, we showed this image earlier for those who just tuned in late or skipped all the way over here. This is Hanzo's old log. The projectile buff is insane. Like, yes, how often, what are people's headshot rates? Like, he's not even firing a log, he's firing a forest, bro. So I did this MS Paint thing a little bit earlier, but like, I'll do it again very quickly to drive the point home. If my thing is this fucking big, and that is, you know, 2 blocks away, if it's here and it's 2, if my crosshairs are here and it's 2 blocks away, 2 blocks away, or 2 squares, 2 meters, 0.2 meters. If each square here is representing 0.1 meters, it'll intersect. You can literally aim so far off and still connect, right? So, I mean, yes, doesn't one-shot, but most of you guys are not headshotting more than 20% of the time. You'll hit a random body shot. It's so easy to hit back-to-back body shots, plus a storm arrow in there. So it's hard to say where his power level will be exactly. Yes, he loses that complete pick potential, which is a big hit. But yeah, he's just gonna hit more shots overall. So I don't think I played against the Hanzo when I did play in the patch a little bit. So I don't really have a definitive answer of how this will play out. But yeah. Okay. The bigger circle is the new size. That is the railgun shot, by the way, in that image. Okay. Moving on to Junkrat. Health increased from 200 to 250. That's fine. Scales with everybody else. Frag launchers base projectile size reduced from 0.25 to 0.2 meters. So the way Overwatch is doing this is they'll nerf it individually, and then the global projectile size rule applies on top of that. So it's still a net buff. Junkrat, travel time projectile with less than a speed or with the speed less than or equal to 50 meters per second. I think Junkrat's grenades are like 25 meters per second. So this rule applies for Junkrat. So it still gets plus 0.15. Therefore, Junkrat will have 0.2 plus 0.15, 0.35 meters net. So it's still very big explosion. If you look at this without reading the global rule, you'd think it's a nerf, but he's still net buffed. I assume they individually nerfed this number before applying the global rule, because in the playtest, a random grenade, the random spam was just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm getting hit by so much. So they slightly tweaked it, but it's still net stronger in terms of that. Okay. What was I going to say? Yes, he cannot mine plus left click to one shot anymore, because the mine plus the thing will not one shot, but a lot of heroes lose that too. Hanzo loses the one shot. Genji's, I guess, the blade combo loses the one shot. Storm arrow one shot. A lot of heroes lose one shots in this. Their whole goal of these changes were to reduce burst damage, which is why I'm saying heroes that have consistent damage over time, like Ashe, Bob, Dynamites, Bastions, people that poke you over time and whittle you down to consistently apply the DPS healing debuff are the biggest winners of this patch. That's my initial thoughts. But yes, Junkrat does lose it. So Junkrat, yes, he will hit 0.35, means he'll chip away a lot more, but he does lose that flanking one-shot style. Mei, 300 HP demon now. The icicles will be a lot bigger, of course, with the global change. Somebody said take a shot every time KarQ says global. Global. Icicles will be easier to hit. That's it for Mei. Pharah, the health. So this is the Pharah rework. There's actually a lot to cover here. So 250 HP, like everybody else. Rocket launcher, 0.85 to 0.8 second recovery. It means you shoot your rockets a little bit quicker, back to back to back to back. Okay, so you shoot faster. The speed of the rockets touching the ground will be faster. Buff. Explosion self-damage reduced from 50% to 25%. If you guys have ever like shot the rocket and jumped, like a rocket jump, you go really high on Pharah. So this encourages you to do that a little bit more as well, because you don't take as much damage if you need that extra movement. They're really trying to promote Pharah to be an aerial, much better aerial control. So this encourages that. Now, before I go into the other abilities, I think it's important, like, as someone who does a lot of patch notes, I know what order people like to read it. I know what order I would like to read things, so I'm going to skip and read you the passive first, because I think that sets everything else up. So, Pharah's shots go better. Now let's talk about her hover jets. I played against the new Pharah. I tried it in the training range. Her movement in the air is much better to control now. So they don't write it here, but the aerial control is really, really good. And right now, when you hover in the air as Pharah, you're technically 20% faster than if you ran on the ground. Now you're going to be 40% faster. So if you're tapping and floating, you will be 40% faster than you would be on the ground instead of 20%. So you are quicker. But the only difference is, if you're juicing your fuel as you do that, you don't regenerate in the air, because all good Pharah players know how to hover in the air, because every time you let go, you refill. But you can do it a little bit, but you'll never refuel until you land on the ground. Your feet need to touch the ground. If you touch rooftops and things like that, it doesn't count unless they changed it. But honestly, right now, good. Who plays Pharah here? If you touch a rooftop, it's a roof stall, but you don't regain any fuel anyways. You need to land on the ground to refuel. Sorry, ads. Okay, I can wait a little bit. Yep, only flat surfaces. I don't have to wait. Fuck it. Oh yeah, it's going on YouTube. True. Okay. You can also now activate your hover jets without fuel to just slow your descent. Right? So yes, she has way more capabilities in the air. So I want to cover that passive first. You will expend your fuel, but you can't regenerate until you touch the ground. But you can still have pretty good aerial control because you now have jet dash, secondary, bound to secondary fire by default. It's a horizontal boost in the direction Pharah is moving. Like you guys, it's literally called jet dash. You guys play Valorant? Like that. Okay? Does Pharah self-damage count towards the DPS anti-heal? Like, will she anti-heal herself? Koji, write that down in the Mythbuster. That's actually a good question. What if you're just gimping yourself? If you self-damage yourself, you just don't get healed as much for 2 seconds? That's a good question. If I'm a soldier and I rocket myself and I put my heal pad down, will I get less healing for 2 seconds? That's a good question. I don't know. Do Junkrat 2 nade jump? Junkrat doesn't take damage from himself, does he? I don't think he does, right? It's only people who do damage, right? So it would be Bastion, Soldier, Pharah. Who else does self-damage? We'll write all that down before we continue. Anybody, anything else? Echo? Oh, Ashe can burn herself. Might as well check that. We'll check Echo. Sigma with Rock doesn't matter because he's a tank already. Zarya's already a tank. The DPS passive doesn't apply to themselves. Doesn't matter. DPS heroes who can self-damage, I'll check if you accidentally apply the self-damage. Anything else? Bastion, Echo, or sorry, Ashe dynamiting yourself, Bastion nade, Echo stickies. Ooh, Cass. Throwing a bomb on the ground, the magnetic grenade sticks to the ground, you walk over it, I think. Tracer pulse bomb, that's good. Ah, good reminder, thank you. Soldier rocket jump. Pharah self-damage. Good questions, good ones. I like that. Thank you. That's so smart. Good ideas. Genji deflect. Oh yeah, Genji deflect. But Genji deflect just takes whatever the enemy is shooting. But yeah, sure, we'll throw it in there. Diva missiles. No Diva, guys. That's not a DPS hero. They won't apply any sort of debuff passive if they're a tank hero. Does Echo's copy start it? It should. Whatever they copy that's the true one. Does Exploding Corpse add it? It should. It counts as a grenade. It's damage. It's not a Mythbuster episode, but you're giving me... You guys watch the Mythbuster stuff on the main channel? That's good. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Let's move on. Okay, so Jet Dash. The new ability bound to secondary fire, which is right-click on PC. I don't know what secondary fire is bound to on console. Like left trigger? I don't know. I don't play console. You guys can tell me. Horizontal boost, 8-second cooldown, and you can add an extra setting in your options if you want it to be set to double jump instead. Okay. So they added this brand new ability. Jump Jet is going to get nerfed to compensate for having an extra movement ability, where it now restores 50% of your hover jet's fuel and can briefly overfill. So you know how you can't refuel unless you touch the ground? You can jump jet and get fuel back if you're starting to fall to stay in the air a little bit longer. This is why I want to mention the passive first. In my patch notes, the full one tomorrow on the main channel, I'll put that first so it's easier to understand. So you now regenerate. I mean, you always did. Whenever you press jump jet, you were refueling an old Pharah anyways. You have less vertical height now on the vertical vector, and the cooldown will be increased from 10 to 14 seconds. This is okay. That's because she has so many more movement options now with jet dash. And you still have the option to concussive blast. But the way they're changing this, the cooldown is going to be decreased from 9 to 7 seconds. You can use it more often. You can actually now do 30 damage to people. So if you tap someone for 30 and boop them and then rocket them, like, you'll do a lot more. You'll do 150. With melee, you can one-shot the Tracer. When I say one-shot, I really mean that loosely, though. If I E or concussive boop into shot melee on the Tracer and she doesn't blink at all, yes, you can kill her, but it'll be harder. It always did impact damage. Didn't it? It did 0, if I'm not mistaken. Unless they changed it to do that. Oh, it used to do damage? How much damage does it do right now on live? This goes to show how much I play. No, it was like 10. 30 on direct, 0 splash. So now splash does 30. They didn't mention anything about direct. So I'm not sure if this is 30 explosion plus 30 direct. So it's 60. But that's what it implies, right? Unless it's just 30 for everything. 30 no matter what, or if it's 30 plus 30 or 60 direct. That we'll have to check, and I'll correct myself as I find out tomorrow on the patch with everybody else. We'll try to we'll do it as accurate as we can. Okay? But that is interesting. The explosion radius, though, is only going to go down from 8 to 6 meters for the area of effect, and the knockback will be reduced. They're basically trying to force you to use the concussive or conk as an offensive ability rather than using it for yourself, because a lot of Pharaohs would like shoot the ground or like turn around 180 and like push themselves with it, and now they're trying to remove you from you pushing yourself and force you to use jet dash instead. In any case, this is stronger offensively now, for sure. But you can still have the option to do it for yourself. It kind of, yeah, jet dash replaces it, but you still have the agency to choose to use it. It doesn't say anything about removing any sort of self booping, so you can still boop yourself. So why not both? Self boop into jet dash, tech into jump jet. I think Pharah players who love movement will enjoy the new agency or choices to move in the air as they choose. So, yeah. I think some of the players I've talked to who play the new Pharah actually mixed opinions, right? A lot of people are a little resistant to change, but based on what it looks like, she does feel a bit more fluid based on text. Now, Pharah players themselves will give you a different opinion, but as someone who's just reading the notes, it seems better for aerial control at least. But you can't two-tap anybody. You have to hit 3 rockets, which is bad, because everybody has so much more HP. Previously, the rocket damage didn't change. It used to be 120, kill 200 HP heroes, but you do 120 and some splash, and they're 270, 250 HP. You got to hit a lot, or you need the Mercy damage boost to really, you got to hit some back-to-back directs with damage boost. And then the last part, Rocket Barrage. Instantly refills your fuel. So you can juice all your fuel in the air, jump jet, use all your fuel, then pop Barrage and instantly get all your fuel back and stay in the air. There's a lot of Pharah tech that you're going to have to learn now. Okay? So yeah. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Reaper, 300 HP plus 50. Sojourn, 200 to 250 HP. Secondary Fire. I thought Barrage already reloads your ammo. Yes, it also reloads your ammo, but that's been in the game since forever. You always get your ammo back whenever you barrage. Railgun, secondary fire, base projectile size reduced from 0.1 to 0.07 meters. So I looked it up on the wiki before. And the thing with this is that this is at full charge. It was a 0.1 meter thickness when you're at 100 railgun charge, because when you're at max charge, your thing is thicker. So this is 0.07 at full charge, but you have to apply. Which rule do we apply for this one? It looks like this one. 0.08 meters for hit scan projectiles that are more precise, like Cassidy's Peacekeeper. So this will probably be a net 0.15 meter change for Sojourn at full charge. So to prevent like the old season 1 railgun meta where her thing was way thicker back then. Do you guys remember season 1 Sojourn, which is rail you across? It used to do more damage and it used to be. They remember they nerfed it so like if you had less charge, it wouldn't be as thick, but at full charge it would be thicker. So this is a 0.15 meter thickness, so it will be pretty rough. Still, it is still net buffed, but so is everything else. Okay, Soldier 76, 200 to 250 HP. Sombra 200 to 250. Symmetra is getting shield health changes. Shield health, not regular white health, shield health. So that'll help Symmetra players. It is a better form of HP. You can regenerate a little bit if you TP away. The thickness of her photon projector, which is her beam, her primary fire, a little bit thicker, 0.2 to 0.25 meters. Torbjorn's health increased from 200 to 250. This is white health, not armor. One thing I want to point out with Sim and Torb, Sentry Turret and Torb's Turret will apply the DPS passive. This is true. This is confirmed. Okay? So break that shit, unless you want to be debuffed the whole time. I mean, nobody shoots turrets anyways in low ranks, but for the love of God, please do it. Torb's Turret has more health. Does it? I don't actually know if it does. I forget. Wait, you might be right, because when you increase HP in the custom games, I do know your turrets and stuff get relative HP scaling. So I will have to see if like Bob gets more HP, Sim gets more HP, or Torb gets more HP. I'll have to, well, we'll find out tomorrow. Unless they keep it constant. But if everything is getting an HP buff, but not all the damage is changing. Because not everybody's getting more damage. Do the turrets and deployables need to have more HP? That's questionable. Like Hammond mines and everything, are they going to have more HP? I don't have the answer to that. I didn't play test it enough to give you a definitive answer right now at this time. So yeah. Tracer, 150 to 175 HP. Widowmaker only getting 25 HP as well. Only going to go up to 200 again like she was in Overwatch 1. So she's 200, Tracer 200, 175, and Baby Diva at 175 are the 3 lowest HP heroes in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Baby Diva, Tracer, then Widowmaker. And then everybody else in the game is 250 or higher now. Okay. Finally, oh yeah, now that I finished damage, who I think is the biggest loser and winner in this patch? I would say, it seems like Bastion, pretty good. Ashe, pretty good. Genji, mid. Hanzo, hard to say. Pharah, still a little curious. I needed more time to see how this plays out, to be honest with you. It's going to take more time to adjust. Widow actually is still pretty good, because Widow is now the only hero that can one-shot still at full charge. She can't do like the quick like scope in and have 70% charge and like quickly one-shot someone, but you can still one-shot. Is the only one left in the game. True one-shot at full health, full charge only. So Widow seems pretty good still if you're like a really good Widow player, and your shots are thicker. Widow's shot will be 0.08 meters thicker. Widow seems pretty good. This new tier list is so hard to make. I really don't even want to make a speculative tier list until I play the patch. I'm going to wait 2 weeks before I make it, because like it would just be wrong for me to make a tier list that could be completely off, because there's just no way to tell unless you really put in some hours on the new patch. So listen, if any of you guys watch tier list content from any creator, don't trust them. Straight up. You can listen to it's okay to listen to their opinion and see the speculative, but don't take it as like they said it's bad, it must be bad. There's no way they would know until they actually play this patch enough. Okay? Yeah, they can, you listen, they can make tier lists. It's just speculative. Not saying you don't trust them. You can listen to opinions, but form your own opinion. Don't just blindly copy anybody, including my tier list. I always tell people when they watch my tier list, make your own opinions. Look at my tier list later on and look at everybody else's opinions and then form your own. Okay? Wake up, people. Okay. Let's not go there. Anyways, so if I made a tier list right now, yeah, my tier lists suck. I was gonna say Widow seems pretty solid, Ashe seems solid, Bastion seems the most solid. Tracer, but her pellets are really easy to connect almost all of them now, You can't one clip because everyone has so much more HP, but more shots will be more consistent anyways. Exactly. It's too hard to be definitive at any point here. Let's see. Supports now. Ana, 250 HP. Bap, 250 HP. Brig, white health plus 50 HP. Right? Not armor. Okay. Rocket Flail. Each individual Brig swing will be doing 45 damage. That's okay. That's relative to... She's getting a little bit of a power spike, which is interesting because if you're going to increase damage here, like nobody else here received damages. So it's like... I mean, people were complaining that BAP did too much damage if you're DPS Ana. I mean, Brig's damage is never too crazy. This might be okay. Or sorry, this might be okay. It's a little, they just didn't want quick melees at 40 right now, so they can't have Rocket Flail be doing 35. That seems kind of bad. So previous melees do 30, it was 35. Now melees do 40, this is 45. If we do relative percentage change, it's actually less. So, Okay, Illari, health from 200 to 250. Now, I want to point out Illari because did anybody here play a lot of launch Illari versus Illari now? Okay, do you guys know how different it feels? Remember how easy it was to hit stuff? Okay, so if we actually look at the patch notes, you miss it, right? All right, what's this website here? So that version of launch Illari was a 0.10 projectile thickness at that time. It felt great. And they cut it in half to 0.05 currently. Literally everybody is getting 0.1. Imagine everybody getting the Illari treatment on everything. That's how good it's gonna feel to hit your shots, if not thicker. So Illari will be under which rule here? It's a hit scan shot. So Illari will be 0.08 meters because it's a hit scan shot. So Illari's shots now should be at 0.13. 0.05 was 0.08, so it's 0.13. So it will still be 30% better than launch Illari. Everything else in the game will also be even better, by the way. But that's for those who just remember how good it felt as Illari. Think Illari will be better, and all the other heroes in the game will feel even better, to put it in perspective. And again, this picture, once again, the double size of Hanzo's logs, the Kiriko Kunai stuff, the Sojourn Rail, Junkrat, like, I really can't drive home the fact enough when you play this patch. It's gonna be, you guys are gonna feel like you have aimbot. Okay. And you do have much more health though, that's why. Your logs are thick. Kiriko. A health increase from 200 to 250. Base projectile size reduced from 0.18 to 0.15 meters. They did this because Kiriko's condition is, it was actually like, I think it's, I can't remember if kunai is bigger than 50 meters per second. I think it qualifies for this rule. So it will still be 0.10 plus 0.15, which means it will be a 0.25 meter thickness. So it's still going to be a net 0.07 thick buff. And if we look at the image, they have the image of Kiriko. Kiriko has 90 meters per second. Well, there you go. So this is why kunais felt really strong, because they were always this big by default. Now they're going to be 0.7 thicker instead of 0.10. You're subbed? How do you guys have ads when you're subbed? That's weird. So it is a thick shot. Like, you can whiff on Kiriko's kunais and connect your shot now. Even though it says this because of the global changes. Big. Lifeweaver's HP white health is going to go up by 50. Okay, only 50. Not white health, but this, sorry, not shield health, but this does put them at 275 HP. That's a lot. Lucio's at 250. The boop, that's Soundwave, 10 more damage, 12% more knockback, movement lockout duration increase from 0.3 to 0.45. When you're booped, you can't press any movement abilities for 0.3 seconds. Now you can't press anything for 0.45 seconds. That's a buff. I can't move. If I'm booped, I'm stuck for another 0.15 seconds. A little minor, but it'll feel, the boop certainly will feel stronger. That's the takeaway point here. Mercy's health increased from 200 to 250. Okay, this one's a weird one to read, but I can translate this for you. Guardian Angel, active duration on jump, crouch, cancel, reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. This shit reads really weird, but here's the lowdown. Right now, if you Guardian Angel, you have a 1.5 second cooldown on Guardian on GA, I think. If you crouch or jump, like if you perform super jump tech, your GA cooldown gets doubled to 3 seconds. If I'm not mistaken. Basically, the game sort of punishes you for doing Mercy tech. It's like, oh, you're super jumping? Let's give you a longer cooldown. Now they're just gonna cut that from 1.5 to 1 second. So instead of a 3 second cooldown when you super jump, you'll have a 2.5 second cooldown on your GA when you super jump. That's the translation. Regular GA does it still 1.5 seconds, but if you super jump, it's 2.5 seconds instead of 3 seconds. It's still a buff compared to the old version, but this is just like an outside statement. I've always found it weird that you get punished for performing cool tech on her. That's my take for it. It's buff. It is a buff. They worded it weird here, but it means it's 2.5 seconds on Guardian Angel if you super jump. Press jump or crouch at any point during it. Does that make sense? Justification was because you extend how long your GA lasted. Oh, because it went on cooldown right away? I think they could have done it a different way, but that's just my take on Mercy. I don't even think she's like, alright. Okay, sympathetic recovery passive. So when you pocket someone with healing, you do self-heal 25% of their damage done, right? Or something like that? Or of healing dealt? Sorry, if you heal someone, you heal for 25% of the amount you're healing them. So now you heal 40% of the healing. So if you're pocketing someone hard, you self-heal if you're taking damage as well. Did I word that right? Yeah, sorry. This is a long patch. This is a lot. This is quite a bit. I will say, I was like, meh for Mercy, but like with all this HP change and breakpoint changes, I feel like Mercy's damage boost is pretty important right now. My initial thoughts, not an official tier list, but I'm gonna say low-key, Mercy actually is a big dark horse for me. I actually, when I played this patch, I was like, yeah, Mercy's whatever. But the way it's changed, like the way the breakpoints are, and you notice not a lot of people got breakpoint changes, this might be a game changer here. Whoa, are you saying she's S tier? You heard it here first? The healing is less. Healing pocket isn't as good. Why heal when you just damage boost someone and have them one-shot them again? The one-shots will be less frequent, but this is the necessary evil. Anyways, dark horse for me. I don't actually know where to rate her. I may be totally off with it, but my gut instinct is, yeah. And also, I'm about to take a paycheck from the Mercy Mafia. Oh god. Okay, Moira. 200, 250 HP like everybody else. Secondary fire sucking damage will be increased from 50 to 65. You notice how they didn't increase Anna's damage, or Bap's damage, or Ilari's damage, or Kiriko's damage. But they are buffing Moira's damage, Lucio Boop, helping Mercy out a little bit here. They're trying to take some power away from the DPS heavy supports, aka Bap, Anna, Ilari, Kiriko, and they're giving it. I mean, Lifeweaver didn't really receive anything. Lifeweaver seems kind of meh here in this patch. But Lucio, bit stronger of a boop. All the stuff to Mercy to help. The breakpoints seem pretty good. The damage boost seems more necessary now. Moira sucking. I mean, DPS Moira is a different... I mean, not really a DPS... Like the TTK. She can be very annoying if she's not dealt with, so... Secondary fire damage goes up. The acquisition radius increased from 0.6 to 0.7 meters. That's basically your suck range. If their hitbox is here, and I was like aiming my suck here, 0.6 meters away, it would snap on or connect to it. It's not a true lock on, but that's what it feels like. So it's the easiest way to explain it. Now I can be 0.7 meters away and still latch on. It's like if you're a dude and you're drunk and you're trying to pee in the morning, like you can aim a bit more off and it'll still reach the toilet bowl. If you know, you know. So this is a buff. Zenyatta, health What an analogy. If you know, you know. Accurate. Thank you. Thank you. Your accuracy is better. All you need to know. You know. You know. Zenyatta's the last one here. Health increased from 75 to 100. 25 white health, 25 shield health, plus 50 just like everybody else, but some of it's added in shield health. And like you mentioned earlier, or like we mentioned earlier, snap kick does 50% of base melee damage, which means the snap kick will do 60 damage for a kick. 60. Boot to the face. And Discord is percentage based, that's right. Something that's not in the patch note, the implication of a Discord orb means it's pretty good. The debuff is 25%, right? So everybody's HP went up, but 25% is 25%, so it scales. That means Discord is inherently a bit more valuable. Than what it was previously, right? Am I wrong in saying that? No, that's right. So if they're discorded at 60 damage plus 25% thing, then you're doing a 75 damage kick if they're discorded, which is stronger than your primary fire. So yeah, he is 225 right now, so he'll be 275. That's right. Yeah. Oh, also same with Sombra. That's right. So another big winner here I didn't mention might be Sombra's EMP is inherently way more valuable. More HP goes down, right? So initial tier list, Sombra seems solid with that. Virus will be harder to one-shot somebody, but the EMP, if you're putting all your eggs into the EMP, then it is good. But like Sombra outside of it, I mean, you're not really killing anybody fully anymore. So there's that. Virus has 100 flat only. Okay, for supports, it seems like Lifeweaver got the least from this patch. Zenyatta's good. Moira good. Mercy good. Lucio good. Nothing for the other supports. I feel like Zen might be pretty core. Does Suzu cleanse a DPS debuff passive? I'm putting that in the Mythbuster. That's right. Oh, yes, and EMP applies the passive. Ah, yes. Something to keep in mind is, I think as long as they're EMP'd or hacked, I don't know if the DPS anti-healing debuff will stay while they're hacked as well, because they're not taking any more damage anymore, so I'll have to check that for example, but yeah. It seems Zen is pretty good here. That's all I'm saying. Okay, and that is all for the patch. I'm not really going to read the rest of it. There is a Junkertown change. There's a picture. I went, since I'm allowed to say, I played the new Junkertown. You guys have no idea how much cooler the map looks. They have an article which shows a picture. I'm going to go over that now. I don't know if I should do 2 separate videos, but... Uh-oh, am I in trouble? I mean, yeah, no. I didn't play Junkertown. I mean, no. Whoops. Oh, okay. No, we're good. Okay, got me sweating a little bit over there. Okay, when I say I played it, I didn't play it. I went to a custom game. And I looked around. Guys, don't worry, don't worry. It's revealed. They showed a picture here. They showed a picture. I'm good. Okay, I know it's been a long day. Is Anna gonna be good? KarQ, was there any UI indicator? In the limited playtest, no. I do not recall seeing a UI indicator at the time. So, yeah. Does that mean they won't add one? Put it in feedback. Play the patch tomorrow, and you guys will have much stronger opinions. I see the legal move up. I do not recall. Guys, I'm not a politician. I'm not PR trained. There's nothing to be trained here. I am just simply stating I played a bit of the patch. My initial thoughts. Zen seems good with percentage based. Dot. Now, let's check Rise as a champion in Overwatch 2 Season 9. My lips are dry. I've been yapping for way too long. I yapped for 1 hour. Oh my god, that was a long read. Any viewer games after this? No. I'm gonna go walk my dog and prepare for tomorrow. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Oh, same? I think we all are. It's a big day. It's a lot can happen. I mean, I'm more stressed for you, Megan. I just have to sit there and play the game. You guys got the harder job. You gotta, any fires that start lighting up, you guys gotta put them out. That's a much harder job than mine. So, one like, one prayer, one thought for you. Thoughts and prayers, as if they mean anything, but they do in this context, I believe. Thanks for doing what you do. Let's read this article. Rise as a champion in Overwatch 2 Season 9. Overwatch 2 Season 9 arrives tomorrow with exciting core gameplay updates and a reworked competitive game mode and a season theme that will test the courage of even the bravest heroes as they face a dangerous threat of cosmic proportions. Get your friends together, queue up and face the unknown that awaits you. So we have competitive play updates. Thanks in part to your feedback, we've updated competitive play, now more transparent than ever. The new competitive overview after every match provides clear insights into how your rank changes, including skill modifiers help you understand your progress, blah, blah, blah. This was covered already in another article. We can link that in the description below. There's the champion rank above, Jade weapons. If you haven't heard all of this, please watch the other blog post coverage video. Yeah, they even have a click here to learn more about what changes are in play because it's in the other one. Let's get some of the new stuff here. So first of all, well, the new stuff here is there's literally an image right here. Do you guys see this? Look at all these eyeballs. You guys ever played Zelda Breath of the Wild? I remember going to the castle and there's that like eye thing that just like had the infectious like dark stuff around them. There's a lot of eyeballs here. Got to shoot those things down. Join forces with your teammates in a new non-canon co-op event to complete challenges and branching objectives as you explore the unknown, making each mission you play uniquely different. Survive the crisis as Sigma, Roadhog, Soldier 76, May, Torb, Widow, Lifeweaver, Moira, Anna, and Alari. Work together to uncover the truth behind your crash landing and escape the mysterious threat that lies beneath the station at Antarctica Peninsula. But beware, there's a traitor in pursuit of your incredible powers, and they may be in your midst. An incredible traitor? Someone among us. So anyways, you have to fight off the stuff, shoot the fluoresces, eyeballs, PvE mode, play that. Eldritch Horror is the theme of the Battle Pass. Give in to the whispers of the madness in the Overwatch 2 Battle Pass, 80 tiers of rewards. Survivor Soldier 76, they put this on Overwatch socials today. I saw it on Instagram earlier today. Okay. Tentacle Horror, Torbjorn, Horror Hog, Roadhog, and more can be earned when you upgrade to the Premium Battle Pass. If you can brave the horrors of all 80 tiers, you'll unlock the Ancient Caller Mythic Moira skin. Images of this, video footage of this is available in the official Overwatch trailer right now, or just wait approximately 15, 16, 17 hours. See that? Same time. Along with, you can also get the Beholder, Sigma, and Harbinger Lifeweaver legendary skins, along with 2,000 Overwatch coins and 20 tier skips when you pick up the Ultimate Battle Pass bundle. New skins to fall in love with. Wow, look at all these. We have, if you're a skin guy or girl or NB, collect themed remixes of Rose-Hearted Reinhardt, Rose Lily, Widowmaker, and Cherry Blossom Kiriko, or capture your true love with the return of fan favorite Cupid Hanzo and the all-new Valentine's Day Reaper skin. Other cosmetics, we have legendary skins with cool remixes including Fiend Orisa, Dark Fawn Lucio, and along with weapon skins inspired by the graffiti of the Los Muertos gang seen on Dorado. Stay tuned for a new collaboration that'll be rolling later this season. This was revealed to be Cowboy Bebop. If you're a fan of the anime, I'm not. Haven't really watched it. I'll try it eventually. Well, I watched like 8, 9, 10 episodes or whatever a couple years ago. Didn't like it at the time. I'll give it another fair shot. Sorry, I'm offending I'm offending the fans of the series. My bad. Okay, the next thing they're gonna do. Ooh, a nice little screenshot here of Hero Mastery Gauntlet. Experience a new multiplayer experience in Hero Mastery. Work with your team to fight against changing waves of enemies, defend your towers, and upgrade your defenses. Can you survive the Hero Mastery Gauntlet? Team up with friends and face tactical moments requiring both individual and collective skill. Every time you play will be a fresh experience with variations in enemy waves, objectives, and upgrade options, ensuring no 2 games are the same, and you can test your skill with any hero. So what this implies, each level will be sort of randomly generated, not fixed like the mastery courses, right? New monsters will be spawning at different times. The ads will come out a little bit differently. The mini objectives in each match will be a little different. And they didn't say it here, but they said it in the other article that I read yesterday or last week. It is a 3-person thing. You queue with 2 friends. You guys have 2 friends? Hopefully you do. 3 people. Or you can solo queue, I guess. And I think it queues you up with some people. Yes? No? You don't have 3 friends? Tough. So 3 people. Tower defense. If you like tower defense, you'll like this. Season 9 Champions, of course, brings a bunch of global hero changes. We just talked about it in the whole patch note stuff, but the TLDR is there's a full list of the patch notes here. We just went over it before this video. But the TLDR is that there's a big Pharah rework. They're empowering Pharah to make more individual plays and lessen her reliance on heroes like Mercy. Shift Pharah's movement capabilities from feathering up to the sky vertically to more horizontal movements to cover more distance quickly. Basically that new jet dash movement, right? Do you remember when they nerfed Jump Jet's vertical vector by 20% as well? So it does, you know, more horizontal movement. And then more downtime for Pharah's flight. So because you're faster and have better horizontal control, you do have to come down sometimes, right? It's good to come down after a night out. These goals are aimed at enabling Pharah to be more effective at higher rank thresholds and as a solo hero. So you can raw dog Pharah, chat, without, you know, relying on Mercy as much, while also addressing rougher experiences players have going against Pharah, such as her presence, limiting the effective hero pool of the opposing team. So one thing this is implying is because you're not as high vertically, your fall off damage as a hit scan is not as pronounced. So one criticism when you play someone like Cassidy or Ashe or Soldier, when you shoot a Pharah that's literally hovering the skybox, the fall off damage scale is maxed out and you literally shoot like a wet noodle at them. You do no damage at a distance. So they're nerfing the vertical vector, so they're more horizontal. They're quicker, but they will be closer so that you can actually shoot her. And because she has 250 health and, like, you know, cast shot still 70, Ashe's scope shot, like none of those damages got changed. So it's a kind of like a up and down kind of like push and pull balance towards that. So I'm curious to see how this hero will play out, to be honest with you. This is Pharah's hover jet's passive has been reworked to limit her time in the air, with fuel only being recharged when she's touching the ground. To compensate for this larger change, Pharah has more speed and acceleration in the air, allowing her to traverse between areas quicker. Cover to cover, jump jets provide bonus fuel, 50% of the total tank, and overflows if you hit 100% fuel. Shut up. So while there are moments of downtime introduced, Pharah players will have much more control of where they want to be in the battlefield during that time. Pharah also has a new ability called Jet Dash. When Pharah uses secondary fire, she will dash into composure. Pharah also has a new ability called Jet Dash. When Pharah uses secondary fire, she will dash in the direction she's moving. When combined with the concussive blast and the enhanced mobility from hover jet. So yes, you still can double dip. Pharah can navigate herself into positions where she's highly lethal. To really encourage you to dive into it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I swear to God, it's not just one person. There's many people in the stream. Trust, we have a very bright community here. Not one person on multiple accounts, I swear. All right, so basically this more active version of Pharah is healthier for the game, offers new levels of skill expression, also gives her more counterplay if you're a hit scan player, if you're not as far. That's pretty good. Very nice. Okay, And near the end of this, rolling into Junkertown. And finally, a big update for the wild and rowdy Junkertown map is coming this season. The first section of the map, this area by the first checkpoint, is quite open. It can be tough for the offensive team to push the cart here if the defending team has a Widow or Pharah. Okay, first, maybe, I don't know what rank this is, but like, nobody plays Pharah on defense on this map in high elo, in GM1+. Widowmaker, yes. Pharah? That's a big question mark for me. So we've replaced the small cover with a trusty, burned out building. We've also replaced the outhouse that was close to the gate with a tall water tower to block line of sight of the opening above the choke point. Additionally, more cars have been added. Cliffside path has been reduced. Small health pack on the balcony, overturning the hairpin turn on the second area has been removed to lessen the defender advantage. In the third area, we added vertical support beam on the left side of the hallway to block sightline. This is hard to see, hard to understand without seeing it. But the TLDR is this building is now in the way, so that long sight line at the end of first for Widow is harder because this building's in the way, so you're forced to play a bit closer. Number two, this water tower, you know that hole right here that Widowmakers and snipers pop out of? This blocks it, so snipers are not as oppressive on first point. Other pieces of cover. The big one is this health pack. Do you guys know what this hairpin turn is on the second? You know when you're defending, there's that little mini health pack on the upper ledge with that little like piece of cover that you can kind of duck between. That's going to get removed so the defenders can't sit there as strong, where everybody holds on high ground. In the third, I don't even know where this is. I don't remember looking at this or seeing this when I checked out the map during my limited time. So I'll have to see with you guys tomorrow what exactly this section means, to be honest with you. So yeah. I think there will be more pictures and comparisons. Like in the previous, these are just the articles, and the early patch notes were posted on the forums, right? But usually in official patch notes, don't quote me on this, they'd usually do a before and after comparison. Remember when Route 66 got changed? They actually showed proper pictures. So hopefully that will come out tomorrow. Or worst case, you guys go to my main channel and I will be showing some before and afters.